In today's video, I just wanted to take a minute and explain what is going on with the PC build and why there might be a little bit of a delay before you see any more videos in that PC vlog series. When I initially set out to do this build, I had a few ideas of how I wanted it to go, and I had a time frame in mind, and I did my taxes earlier this year because as early as possible this year because I wanted to be able to get them done and be able to start building as soon as possible. And if you've been paying attention to my social media, you've seen some stuff coming in. As of right now, I actually have my M.2 SSD, my 4 terabytes hard drive disk, and I have a 2 terabyte hard drive disk. I have my case, I have my memory, I have a power supply. I have a lot of stuff already for this build, and I haven't even received most of my tax money yet. But there's going to be a little bit of a delay in the rest of the build, and the reason I'm doing this is pretty simple. I want to see what AMD does with Ryzen, and I want to do some continuing updates to my setup. Now, you might notice it looks a little bit different in terms of the video quality. It's not great, but it's better, and that is because I have actual lights. I have a light kit that I went and bought off of Amazon, and I put it up over the weekend, and you'll be seeing more of that in a future video. I'm not going to detail a whole lot of that right now because I want it to be part of an episode in the build vlog where I talk about the improvements in the video quality, and that's not going to be the only thing that video is going to be. It's also going to have stuff that I do with the audio because this isn't practical. What I would like to do is get a shotgun mic that I can attach. I have an old microphone stand right over there, and I would love to attach a shotgun mic to it, have it sit right up in this general area, and get the audio that way directly into the camera, as opposed to using, right now what I use is I use OBS to record the audio on this guy and then sync it up with the footage on there. And I would like to be able to just have it in one place and not have to use OBS, because this is a good mic. It's a great mic. It gives good quality, and when I sync it up, you wouldn't really know any better, but it's not the most ideal way to do it. But again, the lights make a big difference. If I actually go and turn them off, you'd be able to see just how much of a difference they make. But I'm going to save that for the actual video that I want to do down the road, where I actually demonstrate the improvements that the demonstrate the improvements that the lights make in the long run. They do make a big difference. Now, this isn't a great camera. This is the Canon Vixia HF R50. It's just not a good quality camera. It's good, but it's not great. And really, to really get a better experience with the video quality, I'd have to go and spend about $500 to $600 on a better camera. And I am looking at some stuff, but that takes away from what I'm doing in this build. Now, there's other things I also want to do as far as setup videos, and that is, you see this back here, it's part of my new chair, which I did go ahead and put together, and I have footage of that, but that is also going to be another video. So there's going to be a video on the video and audio improvements, and there's going to be a video on the setup with the chair and eventually a new desk, whether it be a sit to stand or not. There's going to be some decisions to make in regarding that, because sit to stand desks are nice, but the one I am looking at is $550. That's a lot of money. I can get a desk that is just a standard desk that is still 70 plus inches long, which is what I want. I want the longer desk. I can get one of those for $300 less if I just go with a standard, type of office desk. And that might be the way to go in terms of improving this setup. As much as I want the sit to stand, I don't know how practical it is, and that becomes a problem when trying to determine this budget, because $300 is something I could put towards the processor or towards the storage or the GPU or a 1440p monitor, because there's decisions that still need to be made there. So you're not going to see any more build vlog videos until I actually have that all worked out. But in the meantime, I do want to give you an update as to what the process is going to be. So this isn't part of the build vlog. This is just part of my normal vlogging stuff that I do from time to time. So those are going to be 2 episodes in the future. The video and audio, and then the desk and the chair whenever that's done, and how my setup will look a little bit different, because right now it's better looking, but it's cramped, and this little side table that you can't really see a lot of that Toothless is sitting on, it's a nice little addition that kind of helped give me a little bit more room, but the main desk itself is really cramped. And for me to do what I ultimately want to do down the road, which is a triple monitor system, I'm going to need the space, and I want the wider desks. Like the desks that aren't sit to stand are also 30 inches wide, and that is a big deal. That gives me a lot more of real estate to work with, especially if I'm going to be looking at products and trying to film them and stuff. I need a little bit better of a surface to do that on. So the lights that are set up over on either side of me make a huge difference in the quality. This chair, I'm still kind of getting used to it. I don't really think I sit in it properly all the time. In fact, I don't really seem to know how I want to sit in it. I'm constantly releasing this latch that's on the left-hand side as I bump my mic. And it basically goes into 3 positions, but I'll get into that at another point. So you're not going to see any more component videos. If you want to see the components that I'm getting in, you need to be following me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, because that's where I'm posting everything. I may start using Snapchat a little bit more for the setup, but I just haven't really utilized it much. I'm not really that big on Snapchat, so I don't really feel like putting my PC stuff all up in there. However, when I have all the parts, there will be a final build. There'll be a final video before the actual build detailing all the parts, why I went that way, and talking about each individual part as I have them. So that is still to come, because I am slowly rolling in on parts. Now I do have my cooler, my CPU cooler is coming in. I ordered the X62 Kraken from NZXT. That should be here this week. But really, the other reason I want to wait until the middle of March at the very earliest is I want to see what happens with AMD's Ryzen. There's been a lot of leaks, a lot of speculation as to what AMD is going to be doing with Ryzen. A lot of it seems very promising. For, in some cases, half the cost of Intel's comparable processor, it's getting comparable scores. At least this is what the leaks are telling. I don't know how accurate these leaks are. I don't know how accurate the pricing is going to be. We're going to find out at the beginning of March, because that is when Ryzen is set to begin rolling out. I've seen March 2nd as a launch date. So I really want to see what happens with that. Not because I'm planning on getting Ryzen, but because I want to see if Intel reacts. Is Intel going to do anything with its prices? There's been rumor of a couple more Kaby Lake processors coming. Is that all Intel's going to do? Because I find that very hard to believe that they would be able to continue to put the 6900K at $1,000 if AMD rolls out something that for $500 does just about the same. Just about the same is enough to sway a lot of people. $500 is a lot cheaper than $1,000. I would love to see the 6850K at least come down to about $400 or so. That would make me think, that might be a viable option, because I would love to have the 40 PCIe lanes available as opposed to the 28 that the 5820 and the 6800 are locked in at. So I do have reasons for waiting. I don't want to necessarily wait. I would love to just take my money if it comes this week as it's supposed to, and just go off to Micro Center and buy all the stuff that I want to get still. But I think if I wait and kind of see what happens around the middle of March, especially if there's any kind of news coming from Intel that they're going to be dropping prices, it might work out in my favor to wait a little bit. And saving $300 on a desk could be something I put towards the processor, because I pretty much know which motherboard I'm going to get. I'm pretty much set on my GPU. I'm pretty much looking at the EVGA for the Win 2 because of the ICX cooler. I'm really interested in that. I think that that's a substantial improvement over the ACX cooler, which they have had some issues with in this generation. And I know that I really want to go with the Asus Deluxe 2 X99 board. I'm just hoping they're still in stock, because right now at Micro Center, it keeps saying there's only 2 in stock. So I have an idea of what the rest of this build is going to look like. I just need to wait for the middle of the March. I want to see what Ryzen does. I want to see what Intel does. And I want to see what happens with this desk. Because the other thing, too, that could come into play is Autonomous, who I am looking at their smart desks from, is running a contest into the middle of March where every week they're giving $300 in store credit to a randomly selected individual who posts to social media using the Work Healthier hashtag that you can use towards a desk. And $300 off of that $550 desk is very enticing. Furthermore, at the end, somebody is coming away with $1,000. $1,000 is super enticing, although kind of silly because I have a chair. The only other thing I can really get from their store is their ergo chair, which even then I'd still have money left over. But either way, I think it serves me best to wait. So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to wait. Until then, hopefully this looks a little bit better. If you really need a comparison, look at the first build vlog. Look at how noisy it is. Look at how the color is. If you're really still not certain about the difference that these lights make, find me on Instagram at DaveyCracker80. I have a side-by-side picture with the LED light only and with these guys, and you can see the difference in you can see the difference. I'm having trouble speaking again, as usual. So I think that's about it. We've run this long enough as it is. Hopefully everything comes together the way I want it to, but as I said, I'm still waiting on a few things. I also have an Xbox One controller coming. It was the Ocean Shadow Special Edition that Xbox released. Probably put a picture up, maybe do an unboxing of that. I don't know. Oh, and another update. I almost forgot about this. I'm like salivating like crazy right now. I don't quite understand it. The power supply bracket issue has been resolved. NZXT gave me a tracking number. I should be receiving that later this week. It's supposed to come on Thursday. So that issue has been resolved. We'll have no issues mounting our power supply into this case. So tomorrow is supposed to be the Xbox controller, which today is Sunday. Tuesday is supposed to be the CPU cooler, and Thursday is going to be the power supply bracket. And that'll probably be it for a while, because we're going to kind of wait and see. I've pretty much settled on the Samsung Evo for the solid state drives for my games. I've kind of wavered a little bit because Western Digital's blue solid state drives have been cheaper at Newegg of late. But everything I look at says that the Evo is the most reliable if you can't afford the Pro, and the Pro is like $100 more. So I can't afford the Pro, I don't think. But we shall see what happens, because that's really about it. Other than the GPU, the CPU, and the motherboard, is to get the 2 solid state drives. I think I have everything else for this build. I already have one display, because that's the other decision that I have to make too. I have to decide if I want to just go with a full HD 144 Hz display, or sink a couple $100 more into a 1440p display at 144 Hz. The one thing I do want is I want 144 Hz. I want my main display to be 144 Hz on the refresh rate. I want to not be dealing with VSync. I just want to be able to unlock my frame rates, especially since I'm going to be using a GTX 1070, and just go nuts with it. So that's the plan right now. That's kind of where this build is at the moment. Nothing really else to talk about. I am working on Ori and the Blind Forest still. I have edited 9 of the 11 clips that I've recorded to this point. 2 of them are live on YouTube right now. The third one is scheduled for next Friday. They're going up every Friday, so that gives me plenty of time to finish recording the series and get this knocked out. So hopefully that all works out. That's going to do it for now. Keep an eye out, because as soon as I have the microphone solution for this camera, that's when full video going on about the lights and the microphone and the improvements to the video quality will go live in the build vlog. I will be doing it in the build vlog. That will be the third episode of the build vlog. The fourth episode of the build vlog will be the desk and the chair. The fifth episode will be the assembling of the parts, well, the collection of the parts. The Slow down. The following episode will be the actual build, and then the final episode will be results from overclocking the CPU, possibly the memory and the GPU. So that's the plan right now. Hopefully it all works out. We'll see what happens, but it seems like we're on track. Things should be good. I'm going to get on out of here right now. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me on social media, and I'll see you guys in the next one.